Stanley Kubrick was one of the most famous and recognized film directors of modern cinema, ironically ignored by the Academy. There are so many well-done elements such as cinematography, casting, production design, and narrative in his movies that it's almost impossible to define one of them as the reason of success. Definitely, all of these factors are perfectly combined in order to create visual harmony. But what is a key element that has made his movie so particular? Perhaps there isn't a secret formula, but one of the patterns we can find on Kubrick's films is certainly staging, also known as mise en scène, which is simply the method of presenting a play or film. While analyzing some shots of Kubrick's distinguished films, we discovered he was especially keen on staging, and so accurate on it that when you see those shots, you perceive that something is wrong or that everything fits so perfectly that you feel something bad is about to happen. The perfection within staging produces a symmetrical or balanced composition that it contributes to generating anxiety in the viewer.
Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Daddy.
In Kubrick's films, we can find a relation between staging and a singular composition, which creates a pattern in many of his shots since the beginning of his cinematographic career. As we can see in 1957's Path of Glory until one of his last movies as a director, Full Metal Jacket. This composition consists on the creation of a feeling of depth toward the center of the frame. This sensation is achieved by the symmetrical position of the elements that guide your attention to the center. In this example, the beds play an important role pointing out the center.
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best friend. It is my life.
There are many experts and film critics that point out the manipulation of perspective as the main element on Kubrick's filmography, specifically referring to one-point perspective technique. But what is one-point perspective in films? What does it mean when we say the shot is in one-point perspective? We can find perspective in every shot because it's just a way of representing space. Depth is usually achieved throughout perspective, but what Kubrick aims is to create depth by composing throughout a sublime staging because it's strongly related with composition. What is similar between Kubrick's shots is the mise en scène and not perspective. As we've seen throughout this video, most of the shots that use this composition are fixed or its movement is quite smooth. The camera movement creates a psychological effect on the spectator. In this case, the absence of movement causes apprehension because the audience expects something to happen. If there is no movement within the characters in the film, the viewer assumes the camera is going to move. When nothing happens, the expectation increases, so we can infer that anxiety in the spectator grows in a directly proportional way to the time of the shot without movement. This phenomenon only applies when having composition so neat as Kubrick's ones. Finally, we have shown different examples of how Stanley Kubrick achieves that specific and spectacular sensation of deepness, thought, composition, and not through perspective, as many experts think it is.
I think Leonard's a Section 8.
It doesn't really matter the genre of the film, as we can see in Clockwork Orange, which is a drama, Full Metal Jacket, considered as an action movie, or the terror classic The Shining. The way Kubrick applies this composition, despite the genre, is evident, and it's the main tool he uses to make his films visually beautiful.